Put my microphone on. Where's Steve? You hadn't told me yet. Good afternoon, everyone. I got echo. Echo. It's gone now. Yeah, just before we start, just to say that the usual procedure that if we hear a fire alarm, then make your way through the doors out there to the car park. Toilets on the left as you go out this door on the left, and water is out the other door on the right. So, but we're not expecting a fire alarm. So if it does go, then you need to get out into the car park. Also, please turn off any mobile phones that you may have, because obviously we don't want to be here all day listening to mobile phones. Right, before we start, since this is the first full council since the passing of Mr. Geoffrey Fielding, who was a member at Iron Valley Ward from 1999 to 2011. Geoffrey passed away, I think it was fortnight ago, last Tuesday. But he was a chairman of the planning here for quite a long time, I believe. Some of you would know, not most of you, but some of them you would know Jeff. And he was in hospital for a fortnight, and they just discharged him, and on the way out he dropped in with a heart attack. So that was Jeff. And well, I won't say the service, but perhaps we could have a moment's silence in memory of Jeff. Okay, thank you very much indeed. Jeff's funeral, if they're interested, is on the 23rd of April. It's St George's Church, Modbury, at 11:30 a.m. And afterwards, I think it's at a White Hart, where Jeff used to participate in the odd glass of whiskey and thoroughly enjoy it. So thank you very much. Right, we move on now. Item 1, 2 sets of minutes to approve as a true and correct record. 12th of February 26 and the 5th of March 26. So I have a proposer for that.
Happy to move, Chairman.
Seconder?
Seconded.
Thank you. All in favour?
Thank you, members. That's clearly carried for both sets of minutes. Thank you.
Right, as previously advised, a more detailed exempt special council minute extract will be presented for approval at the end of this agenda. So that will probably be dealt with at the end of this agenda. Thank you. Item 2, urgent business. We have no urgent business. Item 3, exempt information. There will be a need to divide the agenda to approve the special council minute extract at the end of this meeting. Now I'd like to invite members to declare any disposable pecuniary interest or any other registrable interest and not registrable interest, including the nature and extent of such interest. They will have any items considered on this agenda. Anyone for anything? No? Nobody? Thank you. Item 5, I got nothing to bring forward, so you'll be pleased to hear about that. We move straight on to item 6, public question time. There is no public questions to be considered at this meeting. So item 7, management, strategic and investment strategy. Councillor Wright to introduce, please.
Thank you, Chair. The report before you today, like ancient Gaul, is divided into three parts: capital strategy, treasury management strategy, and investment strategy. It came this morning before Audit and Governance Committee, where it was approved. It largely speaks for itself. It's an annual report that lays out how we plan to move ahead in those three areas. In capital strategy, I'd note that we are significantly below our self-imposed borrowing limit of 40 million at about 12.9 million from memory. I should have the report in front of me, really, shouldn't I, before as far as treasury management is concerned, our treasury management continues to perform strongly, both in absolute terms and when benchmarked against our peers. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Is there any questions? Councillor Panel?
Yes, there's clearly a big drop-off in capital expenditure in the next couple of years. Is that as a result of our financial problems and or the winding up of the council, or are there other elements in there?
I'll defer to Lisa shortly, but I mean, essentially, the local government reorganisation is the main driving factor in that councillor panel. We will be in a situation we expect from the beginning of the financial year 27-28 when some sort of restrictions will have been placed or will be being placed on our financial activities in terms of preparation for the future or structure of local government, and therefore the programme doesn't include much beyond those years.
Thank you very much. Any further questions? No, thank you very much. The recommendation is on the screen. So can I have a proposer?
I'll move those, Chair.
Oh yeah, sorry, I should have asked that. Can I have a proposer and seconder to approve those, please? Introduced by the proposer. Yeah, we don't want to do that. Make your mind up first, have a debate afterwards.
I have nothing further to add in the debate at this point, Chair. So,
anyone else like to participate in the debate? No? I was right in the first place. Include everything now, Councillor Rake, and we can then take a vote.
Yeah, as before, Chair, I commend these recommendations to Council.
I got a seconder as well, proposer seconder. So, yeah. So, can we have a vote on that, please? All in favour?
That's 25 unanimous. Thank you, Chair.
No problem, is it? That's the best way. Right, we now move on to item 8. Pay policy statement, introduced by Councillor Thomas, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Members, of a relatively straightforward report. Mr. Wilson, our Head of Human Resources, has asked that I bring the following bullet points to your specific attention around this. Firstly, that the Council is required under the Localism Act 2011 to confirm and publish a pay policy statement each year before the 31st of March. That the purpose of the pay policy statement is to track the remuneration of the senior leadership team and report how their pay compares to that of other employees, using a comparison between the higher earner in the Council and that of the lowest earner and of the median salary of Southam's employees. You will see from the report that the pay ratios have remained broadly similar from recent years and reflect the work undertaken by the Council to ensure that all employees are recognised and rewarded appropriately. A couple of other points to consider. It highlights that the senior leadership team has reduced from 5 to 4 since January of this year. And finally, that it recommends that we adopt the pay policy statement and that it's published in accordance with our statutory duty. Otherwise, the report speaks to itself. I mean, you can see the precise breakdown on page 71 or 3.3. It gives you the median and the salary of the lowest paid, and then at 3.4, it gives you the necessary calculations between the lowest and the highest, and you will see that they are well short of the 10 threshold that would be needed for me to bring a report to full council for consideration. So we are well under the statutory threshold, which indicates that the relationship between salaries across the council is proportionate and appropriate. And on that basis, I'm happy to take questions, but then I will move after that, Chairman.
Are there any questions for Councillor Thomas? Councillor Panel?
Yes, I see that the gender pay gap will be the subject of a separate report. Can that be circulated to members, please, as well as just being put on the website?
I would imagine so. I can't see if there's anything that would be part two, Councillor Panel. So yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
In which case, happy to move the recommendations, Chairman.
Happy to second, Chair.
Thank you very much. Glad you guys came. Right, it's on the recommendation is on the screen. So we were going to debate on that one. Yes, I've been told. I don't think we need to. You do a trump, you see. What you do is you make your mind up first and ask after.
Another question, if I may.
Yeah. Councillor Panel wants another question.
Well, this is tangential, but I've noticed that members are going to be allowed to be members of the council pension scheme shortly.
If they live long enough.
You're looking at me.
I don't know.
I'm not expecting a great investment on my behalf, but I'm just wondering if we could have a briefing or a paper or some information about that, because it's due shortly.
Absolutely, Councillor
For
Panel.
younger members, I think it's quite important.
A younger and more eagle-eyed member of the executive has already asked the Section 151 officer that question and has been assured that the S151 officer will be giving us a report in due course. Is that correct, Mrs. Buckle?
Yes, that's correct, Leader. Thank you. The pensions, Devon County Pensions are going to do a briefing for that we will then be able to pass on to all of our members. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would caution, Chair, that the formula for working out the defined benefit under the local government pension scheme is 1/80th of your average remuneration per year of service. So that means you would qualify for 1/20th of your average remuneration if you served a full 4 year, for each full year term you serve. So I wouldn't be booking those cruises and buying those Lamborghinis just yet.
Thank you very much. A fiver is worth a fiver, isn't it? Nearly. Have we got anything else on the debate on this one? No. I think now we can go over to you, Councillor Thomas, to wind this one up.
It is as it is, Chairman. Happy to go to the vote.
Thank you very much. You all in favour of as it is on the screen?
That is also unanimous. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Right, we move on to item 9, reports of bodies. Overview and scrutiny, 19th of February. Councillor Wilkins, but he's not here. Is that written? Oh,
I'm prepared today.
well done.
So I'd like to present the Overview and Scrutiny Committee minutes from the meeting held on the 19th of February 2026 to Council for noting.
Thank you very much. That's noted. Council Tax Setting Committee, 25th of February.
Well, yeah,
Councillor Thomas.
I'm happy to present the minutes, Chairman, but I'm dismayed to see that there's an error because actually the meeting did commence at 10:15, but it actually concluded at 10:18, not at 10:20.
Oh.
But other than that, I'm very happy to move the recommendation and for noting of the minutes of the Council Tax
Noted.
Setting
That's noted.
Committee.
His hourglass doesn't do minutes.
Executive, 5th of March, 26. Councillor Thomas.
Yeah, again, Chairman, happy. I can't just move for noting because there are a couple of resolutions. The first one on page 86 of the report pack relates to an exempt matter which has been dealt with under a different agenda report, both through the executive and through a special council meeting. But if we turn to page 87, E8325, and in fact, it's not that one, it's the next one over. It is the delivery plan. So it's actually E8425, council delivery plan. There is a resolution that the council be recommended to adopt the delivery plan and approve funding of 820,000 from the revenue and capital reserves. So that is basically as a result of the meetings held between SLT and individual portfolio holders from the executive to agree the updated delivery plan and then approve the monies therein as shown on the screen. So I would ask for support, please, for that.
Do we need a vote on it?
Yeah, we do. Happy to move that, Chairman.
We got a seconder on that?
Will second? Or?
Yeah. We got a seconder. We all in favour of that?
You
I
can
don't know.
debate it.
No, we're not debating. Is it?
We're not debating because it's an executive item, isn't it, Chairman? Yeah. So you either support it or you don't.
Yeah. So we got that on the screen. So we all in favour of that?
As the hands go up, that's unanimous. Thank you, Chair.
That was an executive one. So, right, now we move on to item 11, motions on notice. There's one motion on notice from Councillors Birch and Penfold. Councillor Birch, would you like to move this motion?
Yeah, I'll move the motion.
Thank you.
I move the motion.
Thank you. Seconder?
Sorry. I'd like to second the motion, please.
Okay, thank you. Right, Councillor Birch, would you introduce the motion?
Yes, thank you very much indeed. You'll note, members, that the motion makes reference to two parish councils. Could I request that during the discussion or debate concerning this motion that no member names either or both of the parish councils in question, if you know who they are. So could I please put a plea in, no mention, bearing in mind we are in open session. Why did I bring this motion forward with Councillor Penfold? I think the motion itself makes reference to the report, the annual standards report that was considered this morning at the audit and governance meeting. And there is a full report that reports on the matter of the code of conduct complaints, etc. And what is significant within that report is the fact that there are a substantial number of code of conduct complaints that are arising or made or have connection with two parish councils. The outbreak of code of conduct complaints in respect of the few councils is, in my opinion, evidence showing that there are unaddressed issues in the governance of what appears to be malfunctioning councils. These we become aware of not only as district councillors, but also in some cases district councillors attending the meetings. And the question is, what can we, South Hams District Council, do to try and rectify the situation? And it is often the question, can this council, can South Hams District Council intervene or assist the council in overcoming its problems? The answer that seems to come forward most occasions is that the answer is, and I quote, leave it to the electorate when it comes to the election time so that they can make the necessary changes. I believe that we as a council can do better than that. Leaving it to the electorate is not the answer. Surely any potential candidates are put off by tales of a malfunctioning council. Why would they want to join a dysfunctional organisation? In my opinion, and in conclusion, there appears to be, on the face of it, no solution so that in that case the malfunctioning council continues. I think that we shouldn't leave it at that. I think that we as a council should not sit back and do nothing. The motion is calling for the council to explore an alternative approach by seeking council's legal advice on what options are available under the Act that is mentioned in the motion on the screen. Now, one or two people have said you make reference to malfunctioning acts. Can I just give you two examples of where I think the issues have arisen? And then they're not, I wouldn't say they're typical, but they give you a flavour as to what issues are arising. So there is an instance where the parish clerk put forward a proposed annual budget showing an increase in council tax of over 100%, which included the doubling of the clerk's salary. There was no declaration of a pecuniary interest or absenting or absence from that part of the meeting. What was furthermore, the clerk throughout was supported by the chair. That's the first example. The second is, and this is another example, the clerk, being the director of a CIC, brought forward an application for a grant from the council for not a relatively large sum. In proposing support for the application, the clerk does not disclose a pecuniary interest or leave the meeting. Furthermore, this was supported by the chair. Those are just two examples. There are others. But I just think that we as a council should just not sit back and do nothing in situations such as this. And therefore, the motion offers a way forward. Now, at this stage, this motion is just seeking support from the council on seeking legal advice on possible ways forward to addressing the issues that I've mentioned and which are part of the motion. So I urge you to support the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Birch. Councillor Penfold, would you like to speak now, or?
I'd like to defer it, please.
Okay. Right, we now move into debate. That's good, wasn't it? That would include any amendments proposed and seconded only one at a time, one opportunity for each member. So, yes, I got you.
Thank you, Chair. Just as a point of clarification, if that's okay. So at the moment, if there is a parish council proving problematic in the areas that the points that Councillor Birch has just read out, are we not yet able at the moment to get legal advice about what to do? I thought we could get legal advice. Just for clarification. Thank you.
So it would be a good idea now to bring David in, the legal, to give us some legal background on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. There's the issues, I think, split into two particular aspects. One is that the first is that there are issues regarding the conduct of councillors And then there is the second aspect, which is the decisions and actions of the council as a corporate body. Now, insofar as the code of conduct is concerned and member behaviour, then the council has some very, very clear powers in terms of putting in place arrangements for dealing with complaints that councillors have breached the parish council or town council code of conduct. And whilst the sanctions for breaching are not as they were and are largely ineffective, there is nevertheless, that is the mechanism and the framework with which we must act. The other aspect, the aspect of parish councils and town councils making decisions and acting in a way that is potentially unlawful, is something that we do not have, as far as I can see, any powers in respect of that we can do with, we can use. So, I mean, the motion is suggesting a potential avenue, which is there in terms of a community governance review. It's a novel suggestion, and therefore it's possibly one that we might want to seek council's advice on. But essentially, it's that second issue which I think is the real problem. I mean, there's a lot of the correspondence we get is about the decisions and actions of town and parish councils. The code of conduct we've had a lot of complaints as well, and they are time consuming, and trying to find some way in which we can deal with those other than the rather ineffectual sanctions we've got would be helpful. The government has been proposing and promising changes to make it a more effective regime, but I'm guessing that's not likely to come forward in the very near future. So I think that's those two elements that are the problem, and it's how you deal with them.
Thank you. Councillor Allen.
Thank you. Just as a follow-up, so is this about vexatious behaviour? Is that?
A number of the complaints involving councillors are tit for tat, or could be certainly regarded as being vexatious. So there's that aspect, and of course that the fact they're tit for tat and they're vexatious generates a particular mindset, and they get vicious and nasty, and that's then taken out on me and my team. So.
Councillor Bonham.
Thank you, Chair. Perhaps I can just give some background because it's my committee that deal with the code of conduct, both for this council and for parish councils. And today, as Councillor Birch mentioned, we received the annual report on this topic. And as has been said, our responsibility is to respond and to make judgment where there's been a complaint about the code of conduct in parish and in this council, but also in parish councils. The numbers have significantly increased this year, so we've had 32 complaints year to date, predominantly from parish councils compared to 13 last year. So there is certainly a big spike in the numbers, and predominantly from a small number of parish councils. And what we've done as a committee, with the support of Catherine primarily and also David, is to simplify the process that we're working to and to streamline it so that the workload in handling the complaints, especially on the shoulders of the legal team, is reduced quite significantly. But there is clearly some additional work when we've had such a large number of complaints. And I think it's also fair to say that, as David mentioned, we don't have a lot of powers of redress. We really are restricted to asking for training or asking for some conciliatory meeting or some such thing. That doesn't really stop the situation when there is potential situation which is ongoing. So it's actually quite hard for us to really resolve the matter, especially when we're getting a lot of these tit-for-tat situations. In fact, they shouldn't really come to us because our constitution makes it clear that we should be prioritising the serious cases. So there are a lot of unwarranted complaints that seem to be going on that come to us that really aren't valid for consideration. So looking at the motion, I think there is some merit, in my opinion, in understanding if we can do more as a council to help parishes work more effectively. And I think the context of that is clearly local government reorganisation, where the parishes probably need to step up, take more responsibility, really work effectively in filling the gap where democracy is maybe further removed from local residents. And what we really look to is parishes working well. And at the moment, quite frankly, where they're not working well, we don't have any recourse or any action plan that we can put in place. So overall, I think this is a good move to find out if we can identify some additional powers, either for ourselves or another body. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Hancock.
I broadly support this. I think we all know, we all talk to many parish councils and many district councillors who visit parish councils, and so we all are all aware of the challenging behaviour that a small number of individuals on those councils can cause to those parish, to the governance of those parish councils. And it is a very small number, because I think the report that we received earlier in Audit and Governance, it's a very small number of councils, and that within that it's a very small number of councillors who are responsible for a large proportion of the complaints that we have. And I think you have a situation wherein the complaints process is used as a means of harassment and continuation of debates and arguments within the council through other means. Where my difficulty with where some of this is going is actually, if I were to put the boot on another foot, and if another body, another elected body, sat above us and chose to interfere or to direct how we do our business, I'm pretty sure that the response amongst councillors here would be pretty vehemently opposed to it, and quite rightly so. And I think so. There is a very fine line here that other elected bodies have a democratic primacy that we should not interfere with. However, in these cases, there is an interaction with us, because actually through Mr. Fairburn and his team, we pick up the bill for administering these complaints. So, as I say, I am broadly supportive of the motion, because it is in a sense a motion to say, let's look into this and see what we do. But I have a big concern about actually, are we veering into interfering with the business of other elected bodies, even if we may deem those elected bodies to be problematic and having problematic decisions? I'm not quite sure if we have the authority and the legitimacy to be doing that. So that is my big concern. But I think we do have an issue in terms of the number of complaints and how we can resource that and how we can manage that, because clearly that process is not working. And we had a discussion about this in Audit and Governance earlier.
My point on this, really, if I can, please, is that we are looking at, you're talking about elected members. I think the people that are employed by the council is a different kettle of fish altogether. Because if a clerk stands up and says, I'm going to have a 50% increase in my wages or 100%, and they can get away with that, how do we work that? Because that and not leave the room. Because my understanding is, when you do something like that, you've got a pecuniary interest, and you shouldn't be in the room when it's discussed by the council, because it puts them in an awkward place. So it's not just elected members, it's employees of parish councils as well.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I share David's concerns if I felt that the council was getting involved in matters that should lie with another elected body, and I totally concur with that. That I wouldn't sit happily at all. The problem we have is they refer it to us, and then we have to deal with it, and that's where the problem lies. And you know, in a way, some of them are vexatious. There's lots of them. What can we do about it? Well, in a way, that is for the parish to sort that out themselves. I agree with the sentiment of this motion. I just think it's gone into a bit too much detail there in it that I would ask that we could possibly cut it down a bit. I'm just going to try and bring it up again. I can't read it, I'm afraid. Yes, let me do that. So where it goes, instruct the parishes where there are dealing with parish complaints. So where there are significant, I'll just say dealing with parish complaints, and then take out that as a means of improving behaviour on my parish, and where there is evidence of, and then just have including whether making an order to revise community governance arrangements under the Local Government and Public Involvement in Health Act 27 as an option. I think it is. I mean, I think what we want to be able to do is to be able to say to parish councils, you're being incredibly petty and we're not interested, go away, sort it out yourselves. Or where we feel that they are, that there is, malfeasance is probably too strong a word, but where we feel that they're not functioning as well as they are, I would be inclined to go along David's point of view and say, well, that's for that parish council to sort that out. It's not for us to sort it out for them. So I would just cut it down a bit there. I agree with the sentiments, and I think that just makes it simpler, cleaner, and actually doesn't curtail us in possible options either. Thank you.
Is that a proposal for an amendment?
Yeah, that would be an amendment. But I mean, look, if I'd just say that if proposed and seconder aren't prepared to accept that, then I'm quite happy to withdraw that amendment.
Okay.
Rather than to go through lots of voting.
Councillor Birch.
Yeah, I'm not happy with it being cut down. The reason why is that I spent a lot of time and effort discussing this, not only with Mr. Fairburn, but also with Drew Powell, the director responsible for governance. And we had a lengthy meeting to discuss this. We've had a lengthy exchange. So this has emerged as a result of discussions as to how we, as a council, can seek to be, is to try and find a solution to address the issues that by way of example, that I put in my opening. The fact is that all we are doing at this stage is seeking legal advice on the options. We're not the motion is not asking for action to be taken here, there, and everywhere. It's seeking options. When we get council's advice, it may well be that those options are limited, and it is then up to us as a council to decide whether we take those options or just ignore council's advice. So it's just getting a broad advice from council as to all the options that are available. And once we have those, we can then as a council decide whether or not we're going to ignore it or whether we're going to pursue one or two. So I'm not happy to have it cut down as it is, bearing in mind the work that went into producing the motion.
Councillor Brazil.
Sorry, yeah, Chair, happy to withdraw that amendment then.
Councillor Thomas.
Thank you, Chairman. I think, if I may, there is something missing from this, which is the consideration around the fact that if you're a parish council and we're talking about vexatious litigants and vexatious complaints, I think it's really important that we remember that those individual parish councillors very probably don't see themselves as vexatious. They see themselves as victims of rudeness from another parish councillor, or another parish councillor misusing their place or position. And actually what they are looking for through the auspices of the district council and through the monitoring officer is a solution. That's what they actually want. They actually want Big Brother to say, you're right and they're wrong. And they have to say they're sorry. And after they've said they're sorry, you have to be kind to each other again. And I'm sorry to use the language of the playground, but very often that is the reality of what we are dealing with here. Not always. Some of those complaints are genuine and unkind, unhelpful and malicious. Some, frankly, are troublesome and bothersome. But that matters not one whit to the person who's made the complaint and their impact and their relationship with the monitoring officer and his team. All they want is actually for us to have more teeth, to give a stronger resolution, and for basically the problem to be solved as it would in my other sphere of employment when I'm not in this place. And you know what I mean by that. You know, so I think that's one of our challenges, that actually what we need is not just what Councillor Birch is asking for, which I support, but what we're actually asking for is we're asking effectively, I would almost, if I was going to add anything, I would almost be continuing to lobby the government to ensure that we were given as you know, all the upper tier that replaces us is given the necessary teeth to actually support lower tier authorities in a meaningful and constructive manner. And I think that's the bit that's missing. And that then sends a message, the sort of message which I think Councillor Hancock was trying to get across, in the sense that this is not all about us speaking down to parish councils. This is also about us understanding that we have a role in supporting what they do, which is often really difficult and trying. And let's forget, however little we get paid something, which is more than they get. And I think we ought to bear that in mind as well. So if I was going to amend it at all, I would possibly add a triple I of continue to lobby the government around strengthening the legislation on sanctions for councillors that do fall foul of the standards. Chairman.
Would you include clerks in that?
Well, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Anyone is part of the process.
Councillor Birch, would you
Anyone is
like
part of the
to leave
process.
an amendment?
I don't think Councillor Thomas is proposing an amendment.
I think if I was to propose one, if there was enough appetite in the room, that's where I would be going.
Can I just say that I think the time for taking on board Councillor Thomas's suggestion is when we see what options are available to us. And I think we are then saying, right, we have gone to the trouble to get council's advice on the various options. We've considered these, but in amongst our response to that, it may well be that we can then take on board what you and also what Councillor Hancock has proposed. In other words, that could be part of the next stage.
Just to say, I completely agree with that, but I think it would have been remiss of us not to make the points I've made during this debate.
If I could just add on a point of information, members may recall, members from the last council, that I proposed an amendment which we carried, stating exactly that we felt there should be stronger sanctions against councillors and officers who fail to meet the guidelines. At present, there is only requirement for a member to apologise, and there's actually no requirement. They don't have to apologise. If they don't apologise, nothing happens. We passed quite a strong resolution which went to government, and the government has indicated, as Mr Fairbairn says, that they will be taking action to bring back those sanctions. So that's really in train. It's just a question of when, I believe. Is that right, Mr Fairbairn?
That's correct.
Thank you very much. I think what we're doing at the moment is wandering off onto what we would hope would happen in the future, because all we're looking at the moment is for our support to look into it and see which way we can go. And then it'll come back, obviously, with a final report to say what is added.
I then move an amendment, please, Chairman. At number 3, the council is asked to, as number 3, acknowledge the challenge that parish councils currently face in the lack of enforceable standards as a result of the lack of government legislation. All words to that effect. You know what I'm trying to say, Mr Powell? Mr White, sorry, you're not trying to say, Mr White? No, you're not that important. You're quite right. You're not that important. But you know what I'm trying to say nonetheless. I just feel there needs to be, I'd like someone to second that. I feel there needs to be an acknowledgement of the existing challenge, notwithstanding what Councillor Panel says.
Councillor Hancock. Councillor Birch, would you like to pop in on
Yeah,
that
can I
one?
say, once the wording's up, yeah, so I'll then, subject to the agreement of the seconder, agreed that be included.
Okay, thank you.
We can
Right.
just wait for the wording to go first.
Yeah. Can I just go on to the next question?
Yeah.
Yeah, Councillor Dennis. Oh, I-
I wasn't going to say that because you've told me that's already happened, Councillor Panel. So I'm just, yeah.
Leader, there was a particular reference though, wasn't there, to that being having an impact on the parishes themselves in what you said, which we don't seem to have quite captured.
No, thank you,
there.
Chief Executive, you're right.
Can we say which impacts on the ability of parishes to take effective action or something
Yes, thank you.
along
Thank
those
you.
lines?
I did say. I think it's important we demonstrate that we understand how parish councils work. Goodness, God knows we go to enough of them between us.
Come back.
I'm happy to accept the proposed amendment, yes.
Thank you very much.
The second.
Yes. You happy to? Yeah. Okay.
So that's the
Or-
substantive
yeah.
motion.
Happy.
That's the substantive motion.
Yeah. Substantive.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, I just wanted to amplify Councillor Thomas's comments about parish councillors in general, and that I have a huge admiration, obviously, for what they do, as I know that we all do, sitting in Cold Village halls just for the love of their communities. Can I just get confirmation, please, that in the I appreciate there's a financial implication of not doing anything here, but can I just get confirmation that the cost of seeking legal counsel will be minimal?
So if we go to the best QC in the land, sorry, KC in the land, sorry, in the land dealing with local government, it probably costs us £5,000 to £10,000. But I don't think we're doing that, are we, Mr. Fairbairn? I think it's probably going to be certainly less than £5,000.
Yeah, we'll leave that as the cap. Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, we got Councillor De Winter. No, sorry, Hopwood. Councillor Hopwood.
Thank you, Chair. I think there's a couple points here. For someone mentioned parish councillors as being elected. Actually, the vast majority aren't elected. They're just the only ones that apply. And where I do think parish councils are at a disadvantage is that there's very little training for them, and I think that needs to be looked at on its own, and parish councils don't get as much training as we get, parish councillors, and I think they could probably do with more. I will support the motion. I'm not saying I agree with it. I don't agree with it 100%, although I will support it. And the bit I don't agree with is getting council's opinion, because I think we. So why do I support it, I suppose? So I do support it anyway. Blah-de, 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 blah. You've got to remember, the vast majority of parish councils and town councils do a fantastic job for their residents. They realise they are representing their residents, working with them and for them, and they are brilliant. So you're talking about a minority here, and I think we all need to remember that. I think that the parish, where I have a problem is the parish councils. Councillor Birch gave out 2 examples that are clearly breaches of the code of conduct. But am I understanding that there's, because you can't, one was a parish councillor, a clerk agreeing her own salary. Well, if that isn't a breach of a code of conduct, it's not. No. So you're allowed to do that and not declare it a pecuniary interest. Someone, yeah.
David, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Because the clerk is an employee of the parish council, we have they're not bound by the parish council's code of conduct, which only applies to parish councillors. They're obviously, the parish council itself should have an employee's code of conduct, but that's not a matter for us to enforce. That's a matter for the parish council to enforce its own arrangements. So that's it is one of the biggest sources of complaint that cross our desk, is that clerks or the councils have taken action collectively, and it must be a breach of the code of conduct. No, it isn't. It's not a breach of the code of conduct. It's not due to the individual conduct of a councillor, and that's where I think we have some difficulties.
Thank you for that, Mr. Fair, and I'm really surprised. But so that would lead me more to support this motion, because I think somewhere there's got to be a middle ground. And, you know, if parish councils or town councils are fighting amongst themselves, then they're not doing the work of the residents. They're not concentrating on the residents. They're wasting time, backing and forward, bickering, etc., not getting down to the nitty-gritty of what they're actually there for. And probably these volunteers, because they are all volunteers, joined the parish council with the best of intentions, and somehow along the way those intentions have been pushed to one side, and they've probably, as Councillor Thomas said, got mixed up into some internal fighting, and they now can't see the wood for the trees and just need to refocus. And I think it's sad, but yeah, I will support the motion.
Thank you. Councillor De Winter.
Yeah, so I've got some experience of a parish council that has been involved in some of the code of conduct sort of inquiries, and I just wanted to support Councillor Birch, because I do feel it is, or certainly his motion, because I do feel it's important to explore other options that we might have to help when parish councils aren't functioning properly. In my experience, asking them to sort it out themselves will be practically impossible. You know, they find it difficult to be in a room together, and I think asking them to sort out their differences would take a long time, and would not necessarily come with the result, the result that would be needed. I also agree with what Councillor Birch said, and also Councillor Hopwood, because they aren't always elected. They're often co-opted, and sometimes that allows factions to form within the parish councils, because people are brought in to support other people who are already there, in my experience. So I think the response to say, wait for the next election cycle to come round is not actually a solution to these problems. I've also had a lot of residents say to me that nobody will stand in an election because they don't want to work with some of the individuals who are already there, because they're aware of the problems. So I think that means it can't be a fair election process. And I think the point made about residents is a good one, because, is the key one, because while all this is going on, it's residents that are being disadvantaged. And although parish councils are
volunteers, they do hold some fiscal responsibility, and I don't think we should forget that. You know, they hold the money that is paid by residents, and they have a responsibility for spending that responsibly. And we should, somebody, whether that's us or another body, should be supporting them when things are not working properly. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Allen, did you want to come back?
I did, thank you. I don't know if it's necessary to add into that for the legal team to not only seek advice from council but also to act on it. Do they need delegated authority to do that? So once they've sought it, it can then be acted upon. So that's once it's sorted, it can or it can't.
Depends what the advice is.
That's exactly what I mean.
We need to get the advice first. We need to consider the advice, and then we'll decide what action is appropriate in the face of that advice. So we can't predetermine in that.
But that's what I mean. So will it come back to council? How will that be sorted out once advice has been sought? Thank you.
It will come back in the normal way to David as head of legal services.
So once you've obtained the advice, if the advice has teeth, as Councillor Thomas said, we've discovered actually we have more teeth than we thought we did. How will that be relayed to? How will that be relayed to councillors? Will you be able to act on this immediately, or will it become a report? Thank you.
Can I just answer? This is just calling on this council to support obtaining legal advice. When that advice is received, and clearly it will then become the subject of a report which will be brought either to the executive or to council, with recommendations. That is the route. We cannot predetermine the advice, and what we will do if the advice is A, B or C, is just to get the advice. It's the first stage in what is in a process.
Thank you.
Thank you. Did you want to come in, Mr. Fairbairn? I saw you.
I was just going to say, effectively what Councillor Birch has just said, that it will come back to a committee in the form of a report. It's probably likely to be audit and governance because of the standards relationship and governance relationship. But of course, Councillor Birch is the governance portfolio holder.
Yeah, thank you very much. Councillor Nett.
Chairman, can I give you a point of information very quickly? Councillor Hopwood, you'll be glad to know that I have twice been successfully elected to a parish council. So parish council elections in the People's Republic of Yampton, anyway, are live and kicking.
Councillor Nett.
Thank you, Chairman. I just want to remark on the point of the clerks to start with, that surely that's dealt with by the parish councils under their HR policy rather than anything else. But also I would agree with Councillor Thomas that it's really frustrating as part of one of the members who regularly sits on the Standards Committee to actually not have any sanctions that we can put in place for some of these things. And when you see the people come back regularly, there's still the same sanctions and nothing ever gets done. So it's really frustrating. So I would support this.
Thank you. Councillor Rake.
Thank you, Chair. I would normally share Councillor Hancock's and Councillor Brazil's reticence to. I'll come to you in a moment, Councillor Hopwood. Reticence to sort of trespass on terrain that is rightly that of another elected body, but as noted, we've already been dragged onto it. I do think that we shouldn't. I mean, and therefore I broadly support this. I don't think we should see it as the only arrow in our quiver. And it strikes me, as Councillor Hopwood this time said, that training is an essential part of this. Catherine Bowen used to provide a very good session on based around Lorenzetti's allegory of good and bad government, the 14th century Sienese paintings, that I thought was excellent and set out the things. And the other thing that we could do, looking around this room, I see many years, if not decades, of cumulative experience as councillors. This is a statutory route or a legal route. There would be the possibility of offering a voluntary arbitration panel or mediation panel using experienced district councillors to resolve some of these, because if both parties are involved in tit-for-tat exchanges, then maybe, as Councillor Thomas said, all they want is for someone to sort of make the judgment of Solomon. So, and lastly, on the issue of clerks, although not necessarily governed by or other council officers, surely they are governed by the Nolan principles of public life, of openness, objectivity, honesty, selflessness, accountability, independence, and leadership. I use oo sale as my mnemonic. There we go. So I think there might be some recourse in that. Thank you.
The point of information, please.
Please do.
Well, I'm going
Please
to do
do.
an information point today. Training very much depends on parish clerks. So, I mean, the Devon Association of Local Councils have a very good council development framework, which the clerks in my ward regularly put new councillors on. So really, it does come down to, as is usually the case, a parish council is not as good as its councillors. It's usually as good as its clerk, and that's the reality.
Okay, Councillor Bonner.
Yeah, just building up on the suggestions about what to do. I mean, it seems to me that it will be up to Councillor Birch, in conjunction with the legal team, once this report's been received, to bring a proposal to the council, and I'm very happy if that would come to AMG to be considered in the first instance. And I don't know if that needs to be added to the motion, but that would just be clarity. But Councillor Birch so wishes, because then we've got a way of progressing if we need to. Thank you.
Anyone else got any input into this debate? You want to leave a room?
No.
No, okay.
Yeah, some clerks are very good at organising training. In my experience, not all parish councillors are willing to attend training sessions. Some are, some aren't. And I think if we have a particularly recalcitrant council that we wish to take action on, we should look at whether we have the powers to require members to attend a training session, as we do here. We have to attend training sessions on licensing or planning, depending on which committees we're going to sit on, before we're allowed to make decisions. And maybe we should have the powers to ask that parish councillors do the same if they are on a council that's causing problems.
Point of information, Chairman, we have and we do. We have that power, and we have asked parish councillors to undergo training.
Right.
Councillor Penfold.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments and questions. And can I say it's really wonderful to be involved within a functioning council. So, you've heard Councillor Birch's opening argument, and the council has raised pertinent and reasonable points. I want to be clear from the outset. This motion does not commit the council to immediate action. It simply allows us to explore whether in a small number of cases there may be ways to improve how certain towns and parish councils function. As Councillor Bonham stated, South Hants are proceeding with a revised Code of Conduct complaints procedure, which should help address routine issues. There has also been a recognition at national level that the current system needs stronger powers on councillor standards, although when that change is to happen remains uncertain. But this motion is not about routine complaints. It's about a small number of councils where a significant spike in complaints suggests there's something more fundamental is going wrong. As Councillor Thomas states, it's in these cases, it's more than just recalibrating of a working relationship and restoring respectful boundaries. As we know, it's important to reiterate most parish and town councils, councillors and clerks work well. We see dedicated councillors giving their time freely to serve their communities. They engage with residents, debate openly and represent their areas with care and commitment. Even when they're not perfect, there is goodwill and a shared intention to do the right thing. However, the review shows that a small number of councillors account for a disproportionate number of complaints. It would be easy to dismiss this as tit for tat, but something deeper is happening. In some cases, governance and procedures are used to obscure information. Power can become unbalanced between clerks and councillors. Policies may be applied in ways that reduce transparency rather than strengthen it. When that happens, the system begins to break down. The loudest voice or the most powerful prevails. Speaking up can carry the risk of complaint. Trust erodes and effective local democracy suffers. And to speak to Councillor Brazil's point, in some more extreme cases, support structures do not always resolve these situations. External bodies cannot always intervene at an individual level. Councils themselves may be too small or the issues too personal to resolve internally. Residents who raise concerns can find themselves directed back to the same system that is failing them. Councillors can feel constrained from acting, and in some cases the complexity of the issues falls outside the scope of the existing processes altogether. The impact is real. These councils often lose capable volunteers. Frustration grows for councillors, clerks, officers and residents alike. Over time, public trust declines and engagement with council weakens. Every councillor in this room was elected to make a difference and to serve their community. This motion may represent one of the less expected ways in which we can do that. South Hams has already shown strong leadership in supporting parish and town councils, particularly through local government reorganisation. So the question is this: where there is a clear concentration of complaints, should we at least consider where there is a constructive role we can play in helping address the underlying causes? Not everything should fall to us to fix, I recognise that. But have we fully explored every avenue available to support residents who are not being served well? It may well cost us as a council, but what would the cost be to us if we do nothing, and not least to the local democracy and the stress levels of all involved? I have seen and experienced the frustration of those who feel there is nowhere else to turn. This motion asks a simple question: can we do more? And if we can, should we? It is an opportunity to put things right now and to leave our parish and town councils stronger, fairer and more effective before the move to unitary. I urge you to support it.
Thank you very much. I can't see anyone else who wants to participate, and I'll come back to Councillor Birch to reply and close the debate, please.
Thank you. I won't say anything further because I think Councillor Penfold has summed it all up. And there's a plea there, and I think it's clear that this is a possible way forward to hopefully resolving a problem. So I won't say more, except please vote for the motion.
Thank you very much. I think first we go to the substantive motion.
Just confirm the motion's on the chair.
Yeah, could you confirm the wording on the motion, please?
Thank you, Chair. For absolute clarity, before we go to the vote, Chair, the original motion was in two parts. It's now been increased to a third part as per the screens. So that was accepted by the original proposed and seconder. So we'll be voting on the substantive motion, which is as per the screen and in three parts. Thank you.
Right. I need a proposer and a seconder on this, don't I?
Just put it to the vote.
Oh, I just put this straight to the vote.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks. All in favour?
That is unanimous. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Great. Now I want a proposer, please, to move into part two. Councillor Thomas?
Second.
Seconded by Councillor Pano. So we Thank you very, very much, and thank you for your attendance today. It's up to me now to close the meeting. I haven't got anything to follow up. Thank you all very much for attending the awards ceremony and having lunch with all the recipients this morning, and it was very good.
And there are briefings to come after a break.
Oh yes, and after this, of course, there's another briefing on a
Two briefings.
Two briefings?
Two briefings, yes.
Yeah, so we will take a comfort break and then we'll come back for that other one, okay?
20 past, Chairman.